Hi, my name is Shana Burt, and in addition to being the president and concert mistress of the Old Bridge Chamber Orchestra, I refer to myself as a classical music influencer, a classimusencer. Mm-hmm. Now, being a classimusencer means a couple of things. First, it means that I have the pleasure of telling you that on November 5th at 7:30 p.m. at the Hilton Performing Arts Center, the Old Bridge Chamber Orchestra will be presenting a concert of masterworks that you do not want to miss. Being a classimusencer also means that it is my privilege to spill the piping hot tea about the works featured on that concert program. First up, Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet Fantasy Overture. All right, picture it. It's the winter of the late 1860s, and our boy Tchaikovsky has decided that he is in love. Problem is, the object of his affection, her family, is having absolutely none of it. And in the time that it took me to brew this piping hot chamomile, they had his lady love married off to someone else, a baritone. Now, maybe it was that melodrama in his life that made him susceptible to the machinations of his frenemy, Balakirev. But Tchaikovsky ended up dedicating a work called Fatum to this man. Well, Balakirev hated on it so completely that Tchaikovsky ended up destroying that work. And then Tchaikovsky ended up taking Balakirev's advice about creating a concert overture based on Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Balakirev was gracious enough to write a missive even telling Tchaikovsky how to do it, which Tchaikovsky maybe didn't follow so much. That sounds toxic. Now, why would Tchaikovsky take the instructions of someone who was so unkind to him? Well, do you remember that rap group, the Furious Five from the 1980s? No, because you weren't born yet. That's hurtful. Anyway, the Furious Five used hip hop to make socio-political commentary. Similarly, the Russians had the Mighty Five, and Balakirev and Tchaikovsky were both part of that movement, you could say, that was interested in expressing its nationalism, making socio-political commentary through music, just like the Furious Five, but with less rap. Now, Balakirev and Tchaikovsky both being a part of that means that Tchaikovsky probably would have been hard-pressed to actually beef with someone who's in his group. So we get Romeo and Juliet. We're all the better for it. Now, let me get back to the tea before it gets too cold. Word on the street is that Tchaikovsky maybe wasn't all that sad about losing the lady love of his life. What I hear is that he, a fully formed adult, was actually involved in a relationship with a student. Balakirev assumed that Tchaikovsky, pining over this woman, wrote the Romeo and Juliet love theme in an evocative way of making us think of Tchaikovsky having his tummy washed with hot lather of scented soap by his woman, which is weird and awful. But I suspect Balakirev was wrong, because what we hear is that it wasn't the woman, but it was this student, a 15-year-old student named Edward. Now, piping hot as that tea is, it does not hold a candle to the drama that Tchaikovsky was able to cram into the actual music. This piece, all about the themes. That's what you need to know. Everybody got one. So we open up with a very solemn, stately chorale. That's Friar Lawrence's theme. His busybody, matchmaking, drug-pushing presence is represented by clarinets and bassoons, as one does. Now, that drug dealer music is overtaken by the jagged, noisy, angry music of the warring Capulet and Montagues. Now, self-destruction is clearly what they were about. They were headed for self-destruction, which is a song you should look up on YouTube. It's the same as the Furious Five. Anyway, gang warfare established. Tchaikovsky's scented soap, tummy washing music of love makes its appearance. It's famous, it's lush, it's gorgeous, and you're probably thinking of it right now instead of listening to me. So we're going to move on because I require your full attention. Now, as is almost always the case with star-crossed teenage lovers, the scented soap, tummy music of love is overtaken by the weight of the gang warfare music. And then there's tragedy, there's misunderstanding, there's more tragedy, and then the drug dealer music comes back before the angry timpani and the even angrier orchestra shut it all down in dramatic fashion. And that is the tea on Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet. So, since I am almost empty, our time together has come to an end. Stay tuned for the next Clamusensor update about Old Bridge Chamber Orchestra's November 5th concert at the Hilton Performing Arts Center at 7:30 p.m. Visit obco.org for details and to purchase tickets. Thank you for your kind attention. And yeah, there's no tea. This is bourbon. So, bye.